how do we choose a second-hand car? No, ako admittedly, I haven't bought one. But yun nga yung sabi ko sa'yo, talagang the next time that we need a car, and that would be for 17 years pa, no? Kasi 20 years ngayon sasakyan. So, second-hand din kukunin namin. But how do we choose a second-hand car?
For me, really, you really have to check the vehicle. Like, for example, when I bought my car, konti pa lang yung warehouses sa Cebu. Like, we only had like mga 3 siguro. So, my other option was to order from Manila, pero I have to ship it, which is additional cost, and I can't check it personally, diba? So, for me, I would really advise for you to really check it. If you can test drive it, much better, diba? Majority of the warehouses, if it's a repossessed car, they don't necessarily maintain it anymore because that's also extra cost for the banks, diba, to maintain that. But if they outsource a dealer, then majority of the time the car is really in good shape. So if you can test drive it, if you know, kasi if cars, especially for example, if it's a manual car, it's different yung clutch for every car. So are you comfortable with it? Ganon. Are there leaks? You just check the floor. Are there leaks ba? Bring a mechanic friend, which is what I did in my final visit. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So let's go step by step, no, yung ano natin. Like what I watched in your video, ang first step mo na sinabi mo is we should know what we need, no, in our car. So ano ba yung need na ina-address nung sasakyan?
Yeah. So, for example, if city driving ka lang, then sedan is no problem, diba? But if you go to the province a lot, you go off-roads a lot, then you'll need a bigger car with bigger wheels, diba? So that's usually like the type of car. Okay, brand preference also, like for me personally, I prefer Japanese cars. Our family really owns Toyota since the beginning of time. Toyota, Mitsubishi, ganon. And okay lang to mention brands, no? Parang issue. But
alam mo, marinig nila tayo, sponsor nila, okay ako dyan.
Exactly. Yeah, so or meron ding iba, they prefer Korean cars, ganon. And then also, like, this is more technical, but like the engine size. So, like I mentioned earlier, if city driving ka lang, no problem, the smaller engine sizes, like 1 to 1.3. And then, if you go, you go uphill, you live in the hills or mountains, ganon. So, you need a much bigger engine, usually, diba? So, it depends on the lifestyle also of the user. So,
yeah, and then you also said nga na yun, to do the research in scouting for the second-hand cars. So ano yung mga kailangan natin i-research para sa second-hand cars na yan?
Yeah, so for this, so majority kasi of the time when you're buying a second-hand car, I'm telling you guys, majority is research talaga. Like, because you have to, check may issues ba yung car, ganon. But also like, yung important here, I think, is the fair market value. So when I was buying my car, I was already eyeing kasi a specific car. I was eyeing for a Toyota Vios. So I checked I checked how much it is brand new. I checked how much it is in Facebook. I checked how much it is in yung mga dealer or authorized dealer ng second-hand cars para I can properly, I like kasi doing like the pros and cons, diba? So, always check the fair market value para hindi ka diba? Hindi ka ma-scam. Parang ganun. So, yeah.
Sabi mo din, i-check for the availability of the units, no? So, how do you do this?
Online. You can actually do almost all the research online on your phone or at home lang. So, all the the repossessed cars ng mga banks, they're also listed online. And majority of the time, they're updated either every day or every week. So, they're very quick to update it because also they want all the cars to be sold as fast as possible. That's why it's also very cheap. Diba? So, banks want to be liquid, as liquid as possible. So, yeah.
Ayun. So, and then you said the third step is to do the due diligence, no? At itong due diligence, yun na, nakapili na, kita mo na available yung unit. So, this is the next thing that you do. So, can you explain to us your experience in doing your due diligence?
Yeah, so these things, no, I really did this. I really personally went to, I think, 3 or 4 warehouses. One bank has a lot of warehouse kasi here. So when you go there, expect the car to be dirty, the interiors to be dirty, maalikabok, 'di ba? Abog jud na siya. So you don't get discouraged with that because that's normal. That doesn't really play much part on the actual condition of the car if it's just dirty, diba? So also if you're not very familiar with cars, then with every visit, I recommend for you to really bring a mechanic. In my case, I was a bit knowledgeable about cars. Both the guys in our family love cars, so I already knew what I had to look out for. And then on my final checking, like I had to double check na lang. That's when I brought a friend who is a mechanic, diba? And then mechanics have fees for this, but if it's just a friend, then maybe you can send them a gift, ganon. And then if ikaw lang pumunta, yun, check the leaks, if meron ba sa floor. So yeah, and majority pala of the time, if the banks, walang battery, like the battery is dead. That's why I said na if you have a chance to test drive it, that's great. But sometimes wala talaga. So you have to buy a new battery and you can't really test drive it then. So yeah.
Okay. And then you also talked about the service history and the mileage of the car to check it. So
Yeah.
ano ba tong to?
Yeah, so for the mileage, that's how many miles the car has been driven or kilometers in the Philippines. So obviously, kung mas mahaba, it's been used a lot. Like majority of the cars that are repossessed are yung mga ginagamit ng Uber before, Grab, 'di ba? Tapos hindi na nila kaya because the income cannot sustain their loan. So
Right.
obviously these cars have high mileages because they are driven around all day. So that's also part of the wear and tear of the car. So
Right.
yeah, and then another is they have these service booklet. So you can check the service history if the previous owner ba is diligent in servicing their cars. But since these cars, since the previous owners went delinquent on their loans, you can't really expect all of these. But it's nice to have if, they were responsible enough to do these things, diba? So,
Right.
yeah.
So, okay. So, nagawa na natin yung due diligence natin. Napili na natin yung sasakyan. So, you said the next step is to negotiate with the bank, no? Or dun sa nagbebenta ng second hand. So, paano ba ito ginagawa? I was particularly interested when you were saying may bid and wait, tapos may difference yung spot price versus bidding price. Can you explain these concepts to us?
Yeah, so basically, parang the cars are kind of auctioned kasi. So, if you don't want to, the spot price is usually higher than the bidding price. So, if you will if you will offer spot price, the banks will already accept it kaagad. So, no more bidding. But if you want to save some more, because the difference in price is also around 20 to 50,000, if you want to save further, you can bid. So when you bid, you have to pay like a bidding offer. It's usually around 5 to 10,000 pesos. Pero if may someone who bids more than you and they get accepted, nasosole naman yung 5 or 10,000 pesos mo. Yeah.
Okay.
So wala ka namang like loss talaga. They just want to make sure that you're serious about your bid. So yeah.
And then yung pag nag-bid ka din, pag ikaw nakakuha, ibabawas ba nila yon sa babayaran mo?
Yeah, they deduct that and then you have to pay na lang for the rest.
Ayan. So with the banks, merong spot price at saka yung bidding price. And then how long will you have to wait para malaman mo na, ikaw yung nanalo sa bidding?
Yeah. So what I did with the car that I wanted, I actually waited a few weeks to check if meron bang nagbibid, parang hot item ba to? So when I realized that it wasn't, so I tried to bid. And then when I bid, actually like they just have to wait, I think 2 days. Like parang may cut off lang kasi ng bidding. And then if nobody else bids, then you get awarded the car na. So yeah.
So patience actually really pays off, no, in this case. Tapos, since you got it from a bank, no, kasi mas sabi mo nga mas okay kapag repossessed from a bank, yan, no. Ano yung mga financing options na available? Kapag full payment mo ba yun na kinuha, may discount ba ulit na makukuha, or what's it like?
Yeah. Banks usually really prefer spot cash. Like you pay the full price in cash, which is why I borrowed money from a family friend. Pero if you want to refinance it or take up an auto loan, of course, meron yung interest. So, I'm not sure right now kasi like that was 2 years ago. Pero my bank kasi 2 years ago did not offer a loan option. So, yeah. So, but majority right now, when I did my research for the video, they already offer financing. It's usually the same price lang they're offering, or the price that you want it or you bid. Tapos, they get na lang more profit sa interest.
Yes,
So,
oo.
it's still more expensive, yeah.
Right, oo. Kasi usually sa sa nakikita namin sa mga banks ngayon, yung brand new car interest rate ay mas mababa compared sa second-hand car. Usually it's twice, no? Kasi ang mga brand new cars ngayon, you get an interest of about mga 5, 6 or 7% per annum. Yung mga second-hand cars is twice that. So mga 10 to 14% per annum. So it's quite expensive. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we've already done our due diligence. Nakapag-negotiate na tayo sa bangko. So nabili na natin. Ang next na ay contract signing and ownership transfer. So how was the experience like for you?
For the contract signing, actually it was very fast. Like, konti lang yung, especially if you already paid in full, diba? Parang they won't hassle you anymore with a lot of papers kasi they don't have to make sure na you can pay for the car. So, parang like within a week, signing na I get the deed of sale. You get a lot of papers also because from the previous owner. And then it's up to you to do the transfer of ownership na. So, for the transfer of ownership, you have to comply. First thing you have to do is they have this thing called, you have to release the chattel mortgage. So, meaning, for me kasi my car was bought in Bohol. So, it's not, it wasn't in Cebu. It was just in Cebu because Region 7 kasi kami. But, I had to mail the documents to Bohol so that they would confirm that I already paid the car and the bank doesn't have ownership of it anymore. So if you're not familiar, if you are loaning for a car, yung name sa ORCR ng car is the bank's. So encumbered siya by the bank. That's why if you can't pay for the loan, they get it back. So I think that's the hassle part lang talaga. And it was because I bought a car that was bought in Bohol. So, but other than that, the steps was pretty easy. Once you get checked that your car was not stolen, you go to the PNP usually, diba? Yung Highway Patrol Group, and then you submit all the papers, and then they confirm it already. All the papers are good. Then you go to LTO for the transfer of ownership.
Thanks for watching. Kung may kapamilya, kaibigan o kakilala kang tingin mo ay magiging interesado dito sa video, please share to them or tag them in the comments section. Syempre, kung nagustuhan mo ang video, pusuan mo na ito. Subscribe ka na rin. As always, feel free to write your questions, comments, and opinions respectfully.